Since the VRChat team announced the game's Easy Anti-Cheat update on July 29th, two alternative social VR games in particular have experienced never-seen-before player numbers: ChilloutVR and NeosVR, with the first going from an average less than 20 players at any given hour to suddenly a baseline of at least 200, and the latter from no more than 300 to over 400 at any given hour. With this, if you're one of the people who have left VRChat, whether it's because you're seeking a mod-friendly platform or don't trust the easy anti-cheat system, you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between these two platforms, and which one should I choose? The first factor I'll be discussing between Neos and ChilloutVR: which platform is it easier to port over avatars from VRChat? That is, without having to completely redo animations, fizzbones, and etc. And in this instance, ChilloutVR is probably the way to go. VRChat uses the VRChat SDK, while ChilloutVR uses the content curation kit. Both of these systems operate in a fairly similar fashion. They both involve Unity and doing stuff externally, and have the closest compatibility because although they're not the exact same, the VRChat SDK and Chillout CCK share plenty of common code. And in fact, there are already readily made avatar converters that you can use to remove most of the hassle. So, then what about getting VRChat avatars into NeosVR? Well, the issue is, in regards to avoiding needing to completely redo the functional parts of the avatar, it's probably not going to happen. NeosVR doesn't use an external application or SDK like CVR or VRChat does. Instead, all of its content creation is done in-game, and this means that there's also pretty much little to no shared code between the two. Obviously, you can port over an avatar, it's just not going to be the fastest thing ever. And speaking of content creation, the second factor, and this is a pretty big one, is whether you prefer internal or external content creation. What do I mean by internal and external? Well, internal content creation is the style being spearheaded by NeosVR, where pretty much all assets, including avatars, props, models, and even worlds, as well as all of the scripting and animations, can be almost entirely created and modified in-game. To do this, Neos provides a variety of different tools at your disposal, such as geometry and material brushes, an in-game avatar creator, etc. And for scripting stuff, Neos uses what's called Logix, which is the game's unique visual scripting language. It allows code to be both visualized and for you to see the code's output in-game, in real time. Meanwhile, external content creation is the style which, if you are a VRChat or ChilloutVR user, you are already familiar with. You use an external application like Unity, along with an asset like the VRChat SDK or CVR/CCK to create avatars and worlds and upload them to the game. You could say that a downside of the traditional external style is how you can't visualize what the code and other things you create actually look like until you've uploaded the asset and loaded up the game. But if you're already well versed of the style, it might not be too much of an issue. And then you could say that an upside of the atypical internal style is that it may allow people who may not understand coding or content creation as well to be able to understand it better by having it visualized rather than trying to make sense of a bunch of text and number values. And with that last bit, this is sort of like a sub-factor, like factor 2.1. What I've personally noticed between the internal and external style is that because NeosVR has such a big emphasis on how you can create things in-game, you can actually collaborate with people on the things you create and get help creating things well in the game, with other people being able to directly interact with the stuff you're making. When I was trying out the game for the first time proper, I found myself watching more experienced users teaching newbies how to actually code stuff in-game. And it's pretty cool to see this visual scripting in action. But again, it is very, very important to emphasize, it really does depend on your personal preference. Because if you're more interested in the socialization more than the content creation side of things, it might not be too significant a thing to factor in. And speaking of socialization versus content creation, the third factor is, what are you looking to get out of the VR platform you choose? Personally, I think I would say, if you're more interested in the developer side, like making avatars and worlds and stuff, NeosVR might be for you. But if you're solely looking towards just the regular social VR and don't really need all the extra features, ChilloutVR might be more of what you're looking for. This also goes into the fourth factor, which is, what do you want out of the UI? Do you want one that's more understandable and user-friendly, or one that's more feature-packed? If you answered the first, you're probably looking to ChilloutVR, and if you answered the latter, probably to NeosVR. With ChilloutVR's UI, it's pretty easy to understand everything. You've got avatars, worlds, props, you've got settings, you've got messages, and your friends list. You can search for the public assets that you want, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward and not too dissimilar for VRChat, even including a few new features that VRChat didn't have. Meanwhile, NeosVR's UI can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you're just looking for a simple social experience and not wanting to deal with a lot of technical stuff. Rather than operating on the typical asset system where things like avatars just exist on the game's service, Neos uses a directory system and cloud storage sort of thing, where assets are organized into a Windows Explorer-like interface. Published assets in NeosVR exist on storages rather than a public domain that everyone can access. You can share folders of assets or have them shared with you, but you cannot search for them. So far with this video, I've been providing what I understand and have observed. So for this bit, I'm going to be sharing you the remarks of other people, sort of like hearing a second opinion, if you will. This first one comes from an ex-VRChat player who migrated to CVR. Neos is cool for what it is, but when it comes to being a social platform, Chillout is so much better at it. It's nice and simple, yet still manages to contain more features than even VCR. Neos feels a lot less of a social platform and more of a content creation environment. It's less user-friendly, but seemingly allows for much more complex creations as a result. This second one also comes from an ex-VRChat player. ChilloutVR is more similar to the experience VCR gave, so I'm using that. However, I might explore Neos for development purposes if it sparks my interest. Then, these are some comments from people who play NeosVR. I have been working and playing in Neos for over a year, and I have to say it's just amazing. The power of the engine is incredible, so creators can push the limits of world building, avatar design, and interactive scripting. Neos is fucking amazing. I even use it for work since it lets you import a ton of different 3D file formats. With these comments, you can sort of make out a trend. The strongest positives of ChilloutVR for the users are its social features, while for NeosVR, it's the content creation features. So, as a general summary, if you are mostly interested in the socialization aspect of these games, are looking for a more straightforward experience, and are a VRChat migrant looking for a game that matches the VCR style, ChilloutVR might be more your thing. But if you're interested in the developer and content creation side of things, and are looking to have a unique and feature-packed experience, then NeosVR might just be the thing for you. I hope this video was helpful. If there's anything that I've missed or that you would like to know more about, let me know. And if you have your own experiences or opinions to share, post them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, see you next time.